The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Close to 300 inmates are out of jail, all because of a computer glitch. And with the problems we've had with Harris County court system and crime on the rise, this latest problem just looks embarrassing to many in the court system. We have two sides with different opinions tonight.
It should be embarrassing for the people who handle the universal services system or the computer system at Harris County. I think what we have to do is assure the public that violent offenders were properly handled by the judiciary, by the DA's office, and by law enforcement. They went out of their way to make sure that those people who were considered the most violent in the system were properly handled. And I know that we all want to kind of lay blame. We want to find someone, some individual to point a finger at. In this instance, sadly, it's going to be universal services. DA Ogg, Judge St. Julian, the district court judges, the misdemeanor court judges, the sheriff's office, the HPD, they did their job. But they can't do anything without an operational computer system. It's just the way things work.
Andy Kahan, would you agree with that? Is it that simple? Was it a computer problem only?
It was, but my other concern would be, once we recognize that this was a problem, that there has to be a plan B, a plan C, and you never saw that in effect. I don't know if anyone would have even knew this was going to happen until basically we got wind of this. And it's my understanding that this is not the first time it's happened. This is the first time that the public has been made aware of it as well. So I've got to wonder, is this an ongoing issue? And B, should there have been an alert sent out to say, hey, guys, we have a problem. We need to do something with this. And it's not like anybody was going out of the way to ensure that defendants who were not given their proper probable cause hearing wasn't happening. I get what happened, and the judge did follow the letter of the law. But I do also believe that there should have been another step taken to say, hey, there's 280 some odd people that are coming out, and you need to be aware of it.
So now, this affected the dates March 24th through the 26th. Judge, go ahead, and I'll continue with my question after yours.
Right. And so Andy's right. It would be helpful if there was a paper system to back up the computer system, but the state law has now changed and everything is done electronically. There's very little, if any, paper available to have by state law. And remember, this 288 number that we're hearing is not necessarily the number. A lot of those people were going to be released on either general order or personal bonds anyway. It's just that they weren't able to be released with an open system. And so once again, DA Ogg, the judges, the law enforcement, they work together. I think the public has to know they got together, they worked together, and they kept the county safe by making sure the most violent people in this system were not released arbitrarily or before they were properly vetted for release, if they were released at all.
You know, I looked at some of the defendants that were able to take a look at. I want to probably say of the 100 some odd that I was able to take a glance at, a majority of those were DWI cases. And DWI cases to me are problematic to begin with. I get it that they're still on the misdemeanor level, but the issue is, okay, so let's just say I'm a defendant and I'm told, okay, we couldn't get to you in time. You're out. So were they told to come back? Were they told you need to check in? So what happens now with all these defendants? Whose responsibility is it? Are they actually going to be rearrested? Are the charges going to stick? Will charges be dropped because we didn't follow the letter of the law? I guess those are the questions, if I'm a member of the public, that I would want to know.
And for those who are wondering, there is, I guess, a rule or law in place that if you don't get to see a magistrate within 48 hours, 2 days, then you're released, right? Explain that to me, Judge. And that's part of the technicality after the computer glitch.
Right. So Article 15 of the Code of Criminal Procedure says that if a person is not magistrated on a misdemeanor, it's within 24 hours, and on a felony, it's within 48 hours. So there is a really tight time clock. If a person is not magistrated, magistrated means read their rights, told that they have the right to an attorney, and given the opportunity to have an attorney appointed. If that doesn't happen within those time frames, then a person must be released pursuant to what was then called Senate Bill 7, which says that they are entitled to a personal recognizance bond. So long as it's the kind of offense that the DA's office isn't going to go and say, hey, let's put the brakes on, we need additional time on this person. They're violent. The DA did that in this case. The judges responded. Law enforcement made sure to hold him. And I get what Mr. Kahan is saying about DWIs being problematic. I don't think anyone wants drunk drivers being turned loose while still intoxicated and getting right back in their cars and driving home. That didn't happen. That did not happen. Pretrial services went to work making sure that those people got their future court dates, that they were properly notified. The system worked. And that's the good news here, is that the system behind the scenes worked. The computers, we need to talk to somebody about that.
Now, for those who may not have been told, Andy, that they should come back, how do you round up those people?
Well, and that brings up a good point, Judge. Okay, so you're telling everybody here that there were a certain amount of defendants that were notified when they have to report back to court. Okay, so we weren't privy to that. So I guess the question would be, because the reports that I'm seeing is that law enforcement is going to have to go back out and rearrest and bring everybody back so that they can be brought under probable cause hearings under the time frame as well.
And really quick, Judge, let's ask you, is that accurate, inaccurate from the knowledge that you have?
From the knowledge I have of the way the system works, they would be notified that there's an automatic 7-day setting where they have to come back. Now, that's if they were properly charged. Now, if we have people who were not charged at all and released uncharged, they could be rearrested under what's called a to-be warrant or to be arrested later. They would still get a summons in the mail and a future court date. But once again, these would be for low-level, non-violent misdemeanor offenses, not higher-level violent felonies. That's the.
My question would be: do we know their criminal history? Do we know if they were on bond and rearrested? Let me quickly say, Judge, if you were in charge, would you have done anything differently?
We'll have that answer. So, how would Judge Mike Fields handle it? His answer after the break. Stay with us. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Close to 300 inmates released from the Harris County Jail over a computer glitch. And Andy Kahan with Crime Stoppers picks it up now, asking a former judge how he would handle this debacle.
Hey, Judge, if you were in charge, would you have done anything differently?
Not having all of the information in front of me, I don't want to poo-poo anything that someone did, because I know the folks in this system and I know how hard they're working to make sure that our citizens are safe. And I want to assure the public that, once again, and I know I sound like a broken record, but the DA, law enforcement, judiciary, pretrial services, they got to work. They got to work, and they got to work fast to make sure that Harris County was protected. And we've heard so much in the news lately about all of the crime that seems to be taking place. This is a nationwide phenomenon. It's not just here in Houston. It's not just here in Harris County. And this is thankfully one of those circumstances where everyone worked together and the system worked.
You know, I've been doing this a long time, and this is the first I've ever heard of anything like this. It's my understanding, though, this has happened before, but this is the first time the public is being notified that this has happened. And to me, that means that this is an ongoing issue.
And it must be addressed with this computer system, obviously. And as you both say,
we need to have backups, paper backups, because now the state law requires it to be done electronically. There needs to be paper backups. We want to thank you both here on The Factor Uncensored for joining us tonight. Thank you, gentlemen.
Fox 26 first told you about this story on our ongoing Breaking Bond series. This and other reports detailing the troubling trend of high-level offenders being released from jail only to commit heinous crimes all over again. Available for you to watch on Fox 26's YouTube channel.